Hi, I'm Mrs. B, and I'd like to welcome you to Math for All, where everyone can learn more about math. Today's lesson is on subtracting fractions. We will learn how to subtract fractions with the same denominator, different denominators, from whole numbers, and we will learn how to borrow. So print out the notes from our website at mathforall.net and follow along so you will really learn this as we go. Let's get started. Subtracting fractions are very similar to adding fractions in that we need common denominators, or the same bottom numbers. Once again, I like to stack my fractions because it makes everything neater. The trouble will come when we need to borrow, but I've got you covered with a trick for that. Let's start with the basic steps in subtraction. Number 1, get common denominators. Remember, we have to add and subtract the same size pieces. Second step, subtract the fractions first before the mixed numbers. Go backwards like when we subtract regular numbers. Third step, subtract the whole numbers. And fourth, reduce the answer, if necessary, into lowest terms. First, I have a straightforward subtraction for you to get our brains warmed up. 13 and 7/16 minus 7 and 3/16. We'll go through the steps to figure this one out. Common denominators? Yes, they both have 16 on the bottom. We're good to go on that. Subtract the fractions. 7/16 minus 3/16 equals 7 minus 3, which is 4. Then bring down the 16. Subtract the whole numbers. 13 minus 7 equals 6, for an answer of 6 and 4/16. We have a great answer here, but we're not done yet. Our fraction of 4/16 can be reduced because both 4 and 16 are evenly divisible by 4. We'll just keep that big 6. Divide the top and bottom by 4 like this. 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 16 divided by 4 is 4, for a final answer of 6 and 1/4. Even though this was your first fraction subtraction, it hopefully seems like a review because it is so close to addition. Let's do another one. 23 and 5/6 minus 7 and 3/10. Going through our steps for excellent practice. Common denominators? Nope. One fraction has a 6 and one has a 10. We cannot subtract them unless they have the same denominators. So let's review how to pick the best bottom number for them, called the least common denominator. You may be able to see the best number, but I have steps for us that will always work. I described the steps in my last video, so I'll just be quickly going through that process today. I rewrite the two denominators to the side and circle the bigger number, 10. I go up by tens until the other number, 6, goes into it. Starting at 10, nope. Go up to 20, nope. 30, yes. 6 goes into 30, my winner. I will give him a star for being the winner. I draw my arrows over. Write the 23 and 7 like this because they won't change. I'll write part of my fractions, the lines, and the denominator of 30 that we just figured out. This is looking good. It's rainbow time. 6 times what equals 30? 5. So here's the times 5 on the bottom, and I must do the same on the top. 5 times 5 gives me 25 that I put on the top of the 30. Next one. 10 times what equals 30? 3, so we multiply the top and the bottom by 3. 3 times 3 equals 9 for a 9/30 here. Subtract. We'll start with the fractions, kind of like when we subtract regular numbers, we start on this side. 25 minus 9 equals 16. I put that for my numerator, and 30 is my denominator for 16/30. 23 minus 7 equals 16 for an answer of 16 and 16/30. Let's reduce the fraction. We'll rewrite the 16 so we won't forget about it. Then divide the 16 and 30 by 2, which results in 8/15. The answer is 16 and 8/15. Great job. Ready for the good stuff? What if we have a whole number minus a fraction, like this? My steps won't work because I can't subtract these fractions. It's like 0 minus 3/5. It makes me want to draw a sad face, but never fear, we'll get a great strategy to help us. One thing for sure, do not, I repeat, do not just drop the 3/5 down because it is illegal in math. Let's show what we're going to do with pictures. Here we have 5 bars, the starting amount. Now to subtract the 3 and 3/5. Well, the 3 holes are easy. I'll just cross them out. Honestly, I think it's super fun to get rid of stuff like this. All right, now I have to take away 3/5. I have an idea. Why don't I take this bar here and cut it into fifths like this? Now I can cross off 3/5 like this and just see what's left. I see 1 whole plus 2/5 for 1 and 2/5. Before we move on from these awesome pictures, let's see what we did. I had 5 bars. To subtract the 3/5, I borrowed one of the bars and turned him into 5/5. Now you can see that 5 whole bars are the same as 4 whole bars plus 5/5, which remember is another whole bar, but we need it in that fraction form. This is exactly what we'll do whenever we subtract from whole numbers, but let's try it without drawing pictures. I'll walk you through another example to help. 20 minus 4 and 5/8. I definitely don't want to draw the 20 bars, even though I really like crossing them off. We all notice that we have 0 fractions minus the 5/8, which will not work. We will go borrowing, but it's fraction borrowing, not regular borrowing. We cross off the 20, take 1 away, so he now equals 19 like this. Now I can bring 1 whole over to my fraction side. We need to be smart about what we choose. We'll make it the same denominator as the other one, this 8 over here, so we can easily subtract. Remember, 1 whole has the same number on the top and the bottom, so our smart fraction is 8/8. It's all set up perfectly for us to subtract. 19 and 8/8 minus 4 and 5/8 equals 3/8 here, and 19 minus 4 equals 15, for an answer of 15 and 3/8. So when you are subtracting from a whole number, go borrow from it and put the fraction as the other denominator on the top and the bottom. Maybe these examples will help. I have 11, and that equals 10 and what over 6? I borrowed 1 from the 11 to make 10, so the number that has to go over the 6 is 6 to have it equal 1 whole. Next one, 54 equals 53 and what over 20? That 20 gives us the big clue, doesn't it? It's 53 and 20/20. Great job hanging with me on this one. Ready to take it up a notch? Don't worry, I always have more tricks for you to remember, and then it will be pretty easy for you. Maybe even fun? I do think it's fun. These are also borrowing, but we don't start with 1 whole, and things are just slightly different. Look at this guy, 8 and 2/7 minus 4 and 5/7. If we follow my list, we have common denominators. Check. Next, subtract 2/7 minus 5/7, but don't do it. We can't start with 2 and take away 5. Here we go borrowing from the 8. Cross him off and turn him into a 7. Here's the part that's just a little tricky because we don't just put a 1 in front of the 2 like normal borrowing. So I'll get rid of that like this. Poof! We're going to add 7/7 or 1 whole to the 2/7. Let me show it over here. 7/7 plus 2/7 equals 9/7. The top of 8 and 2/7 becomes 7 and 9/7. Now you might be saying, hey, that's improper. And you'd be right, but we need it improper to do our subtraction. 7 and 9/7 minus 4 and 5/7 equals 3 and 4/7, and it's done. It might have seemed like a lot, but we'll do this next one with a pretty cool trick that I hope you'll remember. Here it is. 12 and 6/13 minus 4 and 10/13. I tried to do 6 minus 10 and realize no can do. I borrow from the 12, make him an 11. Got that part? Now for the fun part. Add the bottom and top numbers here. 13 plus 6 equals 19. That tells me my top number. Voila! 11 and 19/13 minus 4 and 10/13 equals 7 and 9/13. Isn't that just beautiful? The colors definitely help here. Before we finish, let's practice a few like we did before. These will help you when you need to borrow later. 32 and 7/15 equals 31 and what over 15? I borrowed from that 32 and need to add it to the fraction. Remember my trick where you add up the bottom and top numbers to get what goes on top? 15 plus 7 equals 22. So 32 and 7/15 equals 31 and 22/15. Next one. 8 and 3/17 equals 7 and what over 17? Go ahead and add these up. 17 plus 3 equals 20. 7 and 20/17 is the answer. Great work today learning how to subtract fractions, especially when we have to borrow from whole numbers. It's time to go get a worksheet from mathforall.net, Fractions Lesson 6, to practice all of your amazing new knowledge. See you next time.